So hi, Katie here. So I've got a new webcam. Um, um, Basically, yeah, I bought the webcam this evening in Curry's in Cardiff. It's the first time I've ever used it, so I might make a complete mess of this. So apologies if it looks terrible and I look terrible, but there we go. um, so yeah, it's been quite a challenging week, really, you know, emotionally. Um, mm, Take a drink of water. Uh, so, yeah, I've belonged to a transgender support group for about 3 or 4 years, and it's been a lifeline to me. Don't get me wrong. The actual meetings, physical meetings where we meet once a month, has been, they've really helped me, and I've got to know so many lovely, wonderful people and made so many friends that way. Um, but we've also got a Facebook page, and now the Facebook page, everything was fine until about literally until last Saturday, when somebody new came into the group. And we have new members all the time, and they're fine. Everybody gets on, brilliant. We don't all get on, but we sort of like, things haven't been as bad as they have this week. And this particular person, literally, I looked up their Facebook page, and they actually came out as trans last Saturday, and then they joined our group, and they then proceeded to try and divide everybody. This particular person put a post on the Facebook page, which read something along the lines of, anybody under the age of 30 like to come and meet up outside the group. And so a few people kind of jokingly, they said, oh, am I over the hill at 33 and things like that, and um, but I found it really upsetting, to be honest, because basically they're just writing people off over the age of 30. And the worst part about it was that somebody else joined in then, and they actually said, yes, I think it's a really good idea to have a youth group, and all that. But like 18 to 30, I don't quite know what's going on here, because youth group to me means sort of somebody from 8 to 18, like children. And what the hell are they doing by sort of saying, oh, well, we've got all the sort of bright young things, and we're going to separate from boring, what they see as a boring older people. So it's just like ageist assumptions, and it's ableism through the back door, in effect, because they're looking for, people are more likely to like have medical conditions and not be able to pass, obviously pass, but they're not going to be able to sort of like, conform to especially transgender females, that we're not going to really conform to conventional patriarchal sort of stereotypes of feminine beauty, basically, and that seems to be the sort of the standard that a lot of trans people are judged on now. And so yeah, I was really upset about that, and I said to this person, I said, look, I would come along to your little meetup, but you know I don't agree with this, basically, you know. And they were kind of like, first of all, they said, oh, you can come along and everything, and then they said where it was going to be, which is actually quite near where I work. So I said, yeah, I can do that. That's good. But then again, I said something along the lines of, well, I don't agree with this. You can't divide people and write them off like this. And then that person blocked me. So once that I knew where the meetup was that they were going to have for the 18 to 30s, they blocked me. And so yeah, so I was upset about that, and I put a post on our Facebook group saying, I feel so crap right now, and I really was upset about it. I was distraught because it was like gender dysphoria all over again, and I didn't join a transgender support group to swap one type of dysphoria with another type. So I just can't stand that, and so basically, some of the people supported this person and others didn't, but they didn't sort of, the ones who supported this person were more vocal, and they were kind of, I don't know, they tend to be, when I joined the group, one of the best things I liked about the group was the fact that you met all different types of people, like a diverse group of people from all backgrounds or all walks of life, all classes, all professions, all different types of sort of ethnicities and age groups. And now this person has come in literally, and within 24 hours of them being a member, they've completely up upsided that, and they've actually sort of turned it into something where people are divided, and this other person, and bear in mind, these people, they don't usually go to the meetings of the group, and so they're actually sort of started doing all this, and just kind of like using people. You see, I am a transgender female, okay? I'm not, I'm a human being. I'm not a pawn for somebody to use to further their political aims with, or their political ideologies with. I'm a human being, and I won't be pigeonholed, and I won't be put in a box because I joined a transgender support group, or to actually get away from that, because there's enough of that in the outside world, and then to have it replicated in a supposedly safe space, I just find that unbearable. So yeah, so I was really upset about this, and I was upset to the extent that that night I didn't sleep a wink, and I was crying all night. I went to work the next day, and I was tearful all day in work. I hadn't had any sleep. It actually made me really ill. And then I was discussing this with people on Facebook the next day as well, because I put a post up to say how upset I was, and people were saying, "Oh, I hope you're okay and everything." And this one person was quite sympathetic at first, the one who was arguing to exclude people, and to exclude sort of like, older people from this younger group. And they were, they were saying, oh, and they were kind of like sending me, love hearts and things, and saying, oh, it's okay and everything, and we all love you and all that. And then, then they started to sort of keep on. Then it was almost as if they were saying to me like, oh, well, you're actually, you've got a problem, you're ill, you're ill. You got to realize you're ill. Like, it was kind of punitive psychology, really, because I had a difference of opinion. I was kind of instantly then sort of like pushed into a corner, as it pushed into a category. Oh, you must be ill if you don't agree with us. Um, there must be something seriously wrong with you. And things came to a head then, and I said, well, you know what? I said, what it is. I said, you think this other person, you won't accept me as a young transgender female, and you'll accept this other person as a young transgender female, basically, and you won't accept me, and you're telling me that who I identify as is not valid. You're trying to impose an identity on me, and then somebody else popped up then, and said, like really sort of using, sort of, sorry, they used an invasive. They were sort of, I'm finding this difficult. I'm sorry. They used invasive. They started asking me invasive questions. Well, they said like something that was really invasive and nasty. They said, "How old are you?" As if to say that, I'm not old. I'm So I just left the group. Yeah. So, and after that, I had quite a few people messaging me, saying that they'd been upset about what was going on too, and they were asking if I was all right, But yeah, you see, the reason I'm upset about this is I don't like people imposing an identity on me, and this person was actually sort of like pushing people, like, just pushing people out of the way just because of their age, and I just think that's wrong. Because we're talking about adults here. We're not talking about like having a separate group for children, which would be great. We're talking about getting like adults, and saying this lot are the young sort of hip, lots that you need to listen to, the ones that the media are kind of interested in, especially like sorry, excuse me, with trans people, with trans women especially, it's kind of like the younger ones, and it's kind of like replicated with women as well. They want anybody over 40. They don't want to listen to anyone over 30. It's like even anybody over their mid-20s, they don't want to listen to, because, I'm going to say this, but they just, if you're not, if you don't sort of fit their idea of what, people like me are seen as an embarrassment, basically, because I'm not, I'm not, I'm not what the image that they want to project to the community. I mean, look at me. I mean, so yeah, and I've suffered with gender dysphoria for so long, and I was just sort of starting to get a grip on it, by coming out and meeting other members of the community, and then this happens, and it's actually taken me back to square one, I mean, I had a few other things I wrote down here, because it really, really has messed me up, this. Pardon me. Yeah. I mean, basically, like moderators, I'm not sure, I have the greatest respect for the founder of our transgender group, because it's been such a lifeline for me, and I know for other people. It's brought so many people together. So it's a pity that it's kind of ending this way. But the moderators, the other moderators, I think they should have been on this, because I was very distressed, and people, certain people were ganging up on me towards the end and dogpiling on me. And the one said, "How old are you then? How old are you?" I thought, like, saying, well, why didn't you just mind your own bloody business? Honestly, we all mature at different times. We're all adults, like, we're all over 18, like, so, but we kind of like transition at different times. We go through female puberty at different times. You know, trans, transgender females. We just, and for somebody to come along and divide us to think they know best, and this person, well, one of them, one of the people advocating this group isn't actually a transgender female. Not that I'm saying that they shouldn't have a say in that, but they have to remember that, like the dynamics of oppression against transgender females are different, and you can do and say things to transgender females that will trigger us and hurt us in different ways to other groups of people. And and one thing you do not do is try and sort of tell a transgender female where she belongs, and that she doesn't belong with this group, she belongs in another group, she's got to conform to a stereotype, an ageist assumption, yeah. And even though I know that I probably could have joined this group if I hadn't started this business about sort of age and stuff, I think it's unfair because, I would get a chance to join that group, but other people in the group wouldn't. And that's just causing divisions, really. That's just dividing people, I mean, I'm a human being. I'm not, as I said, I'm not a political pawn, I'm a human being, and so is everybody else in the group. Yeah, so that is why I left my transgender support group, which I've known and loved for 3 years. I might go to the meetings again. I don't know, to be honest, because I might see some of these people there. I see all my friends there. The majority of people I see there are going to be my friends. But if this other person turns up, if these two people turn up, then it's going to be very, very awkward. And I'm not going to speak to them because I don't want to. I don't want to talk to them anymore. Really, I just think it's just best now if we pretend that neither of us exist. Because unfortunately, what's been done now, damage that's been done can't be undone. Like the hurt, the pain. I can't. People probably can't understand what I'm on about. I know it's really difficult for them to understand what I'm on about, but I have a condition as well, like a sort of like a proper, like a condition I was diagnosed with, which means that I should avoid situations like this to do with this particular subject. So, but yeah, and the one thing I forgot to say was the moderators. I think they should have been on this. I was going to say something about one or even two of the moderators, but I won't, because that at the moment, I've discussed that with other people. Something about one of the moderators that is not good, basically. And the other moderator as well. There's something about that one that isn't good either. But yeah. So yes, that's what I've been fretting over this week. So yeah, kind of sad really that it should end this way, but that's the way it goes. And well, I'm going to say goodbye for now, and I love you all. And let's see if I can work out how to switch off this camera video thingy. Bye.